Veronica Lake's on the take in Preston Search of Sullivan's Travels, number 118 of the Criterion Collection. Hey there, Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection reviewer guy, with once again 118 Preston Sturges, Sullivan's Travels. And obviously, as you can tell, I'm back out in the old room. I figured this is my new solution to do more reviews. I figured the lighting out here works perfectly at night. As I record, this is almost like 5:30 p.m. where I am. And yeah, so this is how we're going to do it. And hopefully I'll have time for more reviews this way. And I'll be able to do some maybe Thursdays and Fridays after work. And yeah, but for now, Sullivan's Travels. This one, I don't know what to think about this one. It was a huge success for Preston Sturges. And yeah, 1942-90 black and white. But yeah, I feel like there are a lot of things that just rubbed me the wrong way about this one. But anyway, let's talk about the plot. Let me give you the plot. So we got Joel. What's his name? Joel McCrea. Joel McCrea plays John L. Sullivan, a director of comedies such as Ants in Your Plants of 1941, or Hey 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 for the Hey and the Hayride or something like that. And so he wants to make a drama. He wants to make a drama based on the book Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And so in order to do so, he decides to live as a hobo for a few months and like soak up, the lifestyle and all that, and just pretty much live on the land, live off the land and all that. And so while he's traveling, he meets a girl who's never named, who's played by Veronica Lake, in this diner. She buys him eggs and toast or something, or bacon or whatever. And they have a conversation, and she wants a ride into like Bermuda or something. I think that was a joke. He mentions Bermuda. So she wants to ride with him, and he ends up taking her in and all that. And so they go back to his place, and she finds out that he's actually they end up getting arrested by the police for speeding or driving without a license. And so she eventually finds out that he's the director, John L. Sullivan. And so she comes back to his place. She pushes him in the pool because she's upset that he lied about his identity. So she gets pulled in the pool, and butlers, and the valet get pulled in the pool. It's freaking hilarious. And so they try again. They get the clothes, and Veronica actually joins him as like a young man. She has like all her hair tucked up into like underneath a little hat. And they keep, they don't really have too much success. And so eventually they do. There's a long like silent sequence where you just hear music, and you see them in the soup kitchen. They take showers, and they get fed, and they sleep on the floor and all that. And he ends up at one scene he ends up like ruining his shoes to fit more into the style of the hobo. And yeah, so eventually, in the end, he decides that he's going to pay off, a lot of the guys from the soup kitchen with a $5 bill, give them all $5 and all that. And so as he's walking to the soup kitchen, I think he's leaving. One of the guys attacks him and steals his money and steals his shoes too. And the thief gets away with the money and the shoes, and runs on the train tracks and ends up getting killed by the train. The oncoming train kills the tramp who stole from Sullivan. And meanwhile everybody's waiting for Sullivan to get back from taking care of the hobos, and they find out that a guy had been killed on the train tracks. And because Sullivan put his ID card in the soles of his shoes, they ask about the soles of his shoes, and they think that the person who was killed on the train tracks is John L. Sullivan. So the papers run it, and his wife is distressed. His wife, who's like not a cool person, he only married to lower his income tax. And of course, the girl is distraught. I should just call her Lake's character. Veronica Lake's character is distraught and all that. And meanwhile, Sullivan wakes up with he loses his memory and has no idea where he is, and he ends up knocking out a train conductor or something with a rock, and so he ends up getting 6 months in a chain gang, and he's working on chain gang, and he's tortured and all that. And so at one point, one night, he gets sent to a black church where they show a picture show, and they show a Walt Disney cartoon, and he notices that everybody's laughing and how hard they're laughing at the movie, and he realizes that what he needs to make all along is a comedy, because that's what will help the poor and downtrodden more than making a real tragedy about life. And so, meanwhile, but at the same time, he doesn't know how he's going to get home, and so he decides to confess to being his own killer. He confesses that he killed John L. Sullivan, and so because of that, he gets his picture in the paper. The girl sees it. She tells everybody, and so Sullivan's released. And he realizes, and in the end of the movie is just him they think he's still going to do the drama, and he says, oh yeah, they don't, no, I'm not going to make a drama. No, I'm going to make a comedy because that's what the world needs. And and the little thing about his wife, apparently his wife murdered after she thought that he was murdered. She ended up marrying their business manager, and so Veronica Lake's character and Sullivan can get together and all that. But it's funny, because I looked into Veronica Lake, whom I had not heard of. I'd only heard about her from an episode of the Abbott and Costello show, the radio show, when she appears on one. I think it was done 5 years. Actually, no, I think a year after this movie was done. So it was still in kind of her heyday. And that's all I knew her from. I had not seen her in any of the films. I don't know what to think about her. I don't think her performance didn't really move me that much. And it was, and finding out just more about her, I looked her up on Wikipedia and read up a lot of different stories about her. And I just found out that apparently she was a really uncomfortable person to get along with. Joel McCrea couldn't stand working with her. And I think that might be one of the instances I don't think you ever see Sullivan and the girl kiss. You see them embrace, I think, once or twice. But it never feels like a romance. And at no point does it ever feel like a romance. It just feels like a friends with benefits kind of thing, So it's weird, and I think that really turned me off of the film. Now, I know that obviously I shouldn't really take in Veronica Lake as a person into the movie, but it's, the fact that you see Veronica Lake so much in the film, and that the movie was apparently geared around Veronica Lake because of the fact that she was a beautiful woman, and that's how she was a beauty, and that's how they did it back then. That's how they do it now. It's if you're beautiful and you're a woman, then you're going to get top billing, regardless, which is kind of sad, but because the movie really is about Sullivan, all the scenes, half the movie, the latter half is all about Sullivan and him being arrested and all that, and it's really about him. And so I hate that, for instance, the cover, totes Veronica Lake, and I thought it was more about her, but no, it's actually about Sullivan. And the trailer to the film, the first name you see is Veronica Lake, even though, and they bash it in, they bash it in your head that this movie is about Veronica Lake when it actually is about Joel McCrea's character, John L. Sullivan. And so that really turned me off. That, and I think the movie got really serious. I really didn't like the character of the Mr. or I don't know if he had a name, Mr. Casalis or something. I don't know. The Trombonik, I don't know what his name was, but yeah, it was really hard to watch, and yeah, I think the the church scene went on a little long. I really love like African American preachers. I love their sound and the voices and all that. Spirituals though are a little different for me, but that's who I am. But so yeah, so I was a little disappointed by this one, just a little. I mean, compared to the Lady Eve, I think the Lady Eve was fantastic. I mean, Barbara Stanwyck is gorgeous, just exceptionally gorgeous, and Henry Fonda is a great, actually has a great sense of humor. But this movie just Sullivan's Travels just I don't know. I mean, I know it's satire. I know it's supposed to be a little parody-ish, but that's just not, it just doesn't work. Doesn't work for me as well as, something maybe as other films. Maybe I Married a Witch would be better, or I don't know. I don't even know if that's him. I just know Veronica Lake's in that. Or what's the other one? Unfaithfully Yours, which is coming up probably in a few years, and that's on the Criterion, and that's Sturgis. And I don't know if there are any more. I forgot to look, but yeah, I think that's yeah. But yeah, so anyway, what do I give it? I can't give it an A. I can't give it an A because of Veronica Lake and the seriousness. I want to give this a B minus. I'll give it a B minus. I think my and this is just sad, but I think my favorite scene had to be the chase scene early in the movie. There's a van of all his publicity man and all that, like following him along as he's like a hobo. He's trying to be a hobo. And at one scene, there's a kid with a little race car, and he asks for a ride, so he gets in the car and drives off. And so the van has to speed off around him while the cook is in the kitchen, like speeding around. Everybody's getting thrown around in the van, and he's speeding, and the kid and Sullivan are speeding down the highway or the road, and it's just classic humor. But apart from that, just there's some good dialogue. I love the butler. The butler and the valet were hilarious characters. I love when they just their reaction to their reaction to Sullivan and the girl falling into the pool was classic. It's great. But yeah, apart from that, it just rubbed me the wrong way. So B minus, and yeah, that's about the size of that one. Special features, supplements, crazy supplements. 76-minute documentary produced by PBS, the American Master Series, Preston Sturges, The Rise and Fall of an American Dreamer. Just basically a documentary about Preston Sturges, shows extensive clips from his movies. I think one called Diamond Joe he did, and Lady Eve, Sullivan's Travels, and Unfaithfully Yours, and a couple others. There's an interview, 13-minute interview with his widow, Sandy, which is really cool. She talks a little more about the company that he formed with Howard Hughes and why it ended, and that was really intriguing to find out about the whole horses. How I guess Preston Sturges was secretly charged money for riding a horse that was on a set of one of his movies, but nobody told him until the end, and that's why Howard Hughes ended it. Let's see, there's a 4-minute interview with Hedda Hopper on Hedda Hopper's Hollywood about television, and he talks about television. And there's some weird homemade recordings of Sturges reciting a poem, If I Were King, and then singing a song that he wrote called My Love. Is very, very deep and low. The very, very dramatic voice. And then plenty of storyboards, blueprints, production stills, and then the Veronica Lake driven trailer. And that's about the size of it. Yep, so that's it. So Sullivan's Travels, B minus. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to bring the other movies out with me. But anyway, so future with Nail and Eyes next, number 119. Then How to Get into Advertising, Billy Liar, and then I think Salesman, Grey Gardens, and I think the Carl Theodore Dreyer box set. But this may be the last one we have for a while because I don't know if any of you guys are in California, but apparently we're going to have a storm, the storm of the century, or the storm of a very large storm. I'm not sure if I'll have power to watch these movies. So if that happens, then we may not get to With Nail and I for a while, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen because I have to turn that in like tomorrow. So we'll see how it works. If I have power on Thursday, we will do it. Otherwise, this may be the last time you'll see me for a while. So pray, and hopefully everything will work out. And yeah, so that's the size of it. So fingers crossed, With Nail and I is coming Thursday night. And oh, my cat's here. Hey, hello, Asia. So anyway, go away, kid. Go away. Go away. So anyway. Thanks for watching. Don't be Veronica Lake, or don't work with Veronica Lake because she gonna treat you like a whore or a bitch or everything like that. Apparently, Eddie Bracken called her a bitch, and when he worked, I think he worked with her in a movie. What is the movie? I forget the name of it. Something about rhythm, high-spirited rhythm, or something like that. And yeah, don't get yourself arrested. Don't club guys with rocks, and don't steal shoes and money from a guy with $5 bills. And don't throw but do what you can do is get in cars with little kids and have them race you down a hill so that a van will throw everybody in around and all that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you hopefully Thursday. And if not Thursday, maybe probably Sunday at the latest for With Nail and I. Until then, goodbye.